What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Trust the Bank podcast. It's the weekend. It's live. It's also Easter, so happy Easter to everybody that does celebrate that. Big news today. The Baltimore Ravens have signed Odell Beckham Jr. to a 1-year, up to $18 million contract. I believe $15 million is guaranteed. The expectation is void years were used. We'll find out more about the details, but we'll be talking about everything in this show. If you guys want to comment down below your thoughts, your questions, anything like that, we'll talk about it. We're also going to be doing a giveaway when we hit 50 podcast reviews. So thank you to everybody that's been listening to the podcast platforms. Since we started talking about it, and trying to get more views, I believe we've doubled viewership or listening on the podcast platform. So thank you to everybody that does listen over there. It does really help out the channel. And, if you guys are new, make sure to stop by and say hello. But Team Ramey asks, wonder how your mock will look tomorrow. And I am excited. I am excited to do the mock because it's going to be different. I'm going to make sure to change this color back over to purple. But Joshua, how are you doing today?
Oh man, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm happy to hear that that a Pro Bowl wide receiver that has won a Super Bowl, a wide receiver that does have championship DNA is willing to come to Baltimore. With everything that's going on, do I feel like Odell probably had a conversation with Lamar, whether hey man, maybe it'd be best for you to play on the team, continue proving yourself, and I'll be here to help you out. Achieve your goals or your dreams. But also, it is good to see that the Ravens are trying to make some efforts to bring somebody in. So I'm definitely excited to see what Odell can bring to this offense. But the job's still not done yet. Do I feel like we still need to add another wide receiver, whether it's Cedric Tillman or Jalen Hyatt, Jordan Addison, hell, even a Xavier Smith or Josh Downs? Yeah, I do feel like it's needed, but this does help us out a lot, though.
Yeah, and something that I read from Jordan Schultz, NFL Insider, was he talked about how Lamar Jackson and Odell have communicated multiple times trying to get, him to come and, for them to win a Super Bowl together. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Odell Beckham Jr.'s last season in the NFL, he won the Super Bowl. He got injured in the Super Bowl after having a great playoff run, and the Rams were able to pull it out. But Lamar posted this on his Instagram story, but he just posted this to his Instagram posts, him on the FaceTime with Odell Beckham Jr., because he's excited. Yeah. And this is exactly, I think, what the Ravens wanted to do. I think this is better for them in the sense of Lamar to sign Odell versus Darius Slay, because I think they offered similar money in terms of how the cap hits will be structured, because Darius Slay ended up getting about $14 million a year. Odell's getting 15 with an incentives boost. So they wanted to pay that money to someone to try and keep Lamar. And not only is Odell great player, I don't want to say all-time great, but all-time flashy, all-time recognized. Like this is somebody that is one of the most well-known football players on the planet, right? Former New York Giant, former superstar, multiple-time Pro Bowler. This guy came out of the gates literally like no wide receiver in history other than maybe Randy Moss. And that's saying something to start a career. And he's done it all, and he's gone around. He's played in multiple offenses, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But Lamar finally gets that guy, because the thing has been, oh man, nobody's getting Lamar Jackson any wide receiver help. We got Lamar a star, and you don't have to be a top 5 wide receiver to be a star. Odell is a star. He demands respect, and Odell is very different from a Dez Bryant signing, because Odell can still play. Right. Odell Beckham Jr. I want to pull up his stats from his last season, which was basically the playoffs in 2021. He had 288 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he got hurt in like the first quarter of the Super Bowl. So basically in 3 games, 288, 2 touchdowns. That's phenomenal in an offense that had Cooper Kupp. So great signing for that aspect of just like getting Lamar someone, but it's showing the Ravens are going all in. That's been a criticism from so many people, has been the Ravens aren't doing anything. And I'm going to say this right now. We don't need another wide receiver. Now, I'm also of the belief that you can never have enough wide receivers. So I'm totally fine if the Ravens draft first round, third round, fifth round, whatever round wide receiver. They sign somebody else. I'm cool with it. I got no problem with it. But like we now have a wide receiver room of Rashad Bateman,
Yeah,
very solid. I think at bare minimum wide receiver 2 in the NFL. I think he could be a 1 if he's able to stay healthy. Odell, at minimum, great wide receiver 2 if he's able to play like he did in that postseason, his last time playing. And the reason he took last year off was he was like, I don't want to play when I'm not 100%. And I respect that. And so he's coming back, full year of rest, coming back to a system he's played in. Guys, remember, last 1,000 yards season that he had, Todd Monken, that was
yeah,
his offensive coordinator in Cleveland. Um, Getting him, pairing him with Lamar Jackson, it's going to do a lot for saying, hey, Lamar, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go out and let's win. And this is showing that to Lamar Jackson because they are putting out money and it was a risk. If they use void years, I believe it was Brian McFarland. Yeah, Raven salary cap put out the numbers and he said, assuming 4 added void years to reach the max proration of 5 years, Odell Beckham Jr. will have a 2023 cap hit of $3.9 million. So very cheap. But if he's not extended by the next season, it'll be an $11 million dead cap hit. The Ravens aren't signing Odell just to have him for one season. They're signing Odell to extend him and Lamar Jackson to have that be the duo that they want to rock with. That's the hope. The hope is not Odell plays really well and leaves. The hope is Odell plays really well and they extend him and Lamar and they're able to pair them together along with a Rashad Bateman. And things of that nature. And somebody's been asking in the comment section, I think it's a theme, how much are we paying Odell? 15 million base, 3 million in guaranteed potentially. And most of it's basically fully guaranteed.
yeah, man. I mean, like I said, and I think it's something we always been talking about. Lamar never had what Joe Flacco had, and Joe Flacco had a a guy that was past their prime, but still you got a high level of production in regards to wide receiver. I mean, Joe Flacco had Steve Smith, Anquan Bolden, um, Derek Mason. I will not bring up Lee Evans nor TJ Hushmanjada, but you know he had those guys too. And this is finally the first time that he'll have a guy that's still past their prime, but still can get a level of production that will suffice this offense. Now, do I feel like Odell Beckham is going to be the end all be all or the great answer to what this offense need? No, for the simple fact that yes, look, Odell does have he has health history. We all know that. But the thing that worked out for Odell so beautiful in LA was he had Cooper Cup on the opposite side of him. So even though Odell Beckham was out there on the field, he knew when it was time to shine. So that means Nelson Aguilar, excuse me, Rashad Bateman. I'm assuming Devin Duvernay and James Prochet will probably still be part of the wide receiver. Those guys will need to step up a lot because when it's time for Odell to shine, he definitely will be prime time ready. We all know that. I mean, I love the fact that you say maybe not draft another wide receiver. If we go for another wide receiver, I would go for N'Keal Harry. Um, he's a young guy when he's 25 years old. He does have a lot of upside. We do have better wide receiver coaches. I feel like we possibly can get a lot of production out of some better production out of him than he did in New England. And I know it's soon. I know it's early, but I do feel like Todd Monken will use best player best player available and put out the best offense for us to win. It's just nice to see that the Ravens are being aggressive to a degree. Like I said, the job's not done. There's still more work. There's still more work to be had. But one thing you and I kept on saying, McConnell, if you're going to keep your quarterback here, show that you're willing to be committed to upgrade this offense. And this Easter Sunday, having an Odell Beckham signing that is showing a level of commitment that that you can't argue with right now. It
Yeah.
shows that like, hey, we do want you here, Lamar. We know we haven't really been doing the best by you, and in so many terms. We are getting your wide receiver, and the job's not done. So hey, man, maybe play on this tag. Let's work the ins and outs of that contract extension at the this upcoming season. But I definitely feel like Odell Beckham. I know everybody's saying like, oh, he's talking to Lamar, or it's something in the water that we don't know. It's possibly is something that we don't know, but also we can see Lamar, showing love to someone that, yeah, even though he's on the ends, he's on the out right now of Baltimore. He could just be showing love to another brother in the NFL that just cut a deal. So I mean, let's not get our hopes up until after the draft because we all saw what happened last year.
And something that's really interesting. Odell's played 5 games against the Ravens. He has 3 game-winning or game-sealing touchdowns against the Ravens. He had like the 80-yarder when he played for the Giants, where I think it was Eric Weddle just like botched the play, but took it. I think that might have been rookie Odell. It was in 2016. Game winner for the Rams. He had where he caught that like short pass. I think it was the front right goal line. He scored, and that was 2020. What was it? 2022. It looks like, yeah, that was the end of the 2022 season. And the Ravens lost that game because of that touchdown. I think Tyler Huntley started that game. And then when he was in Cleveland, he caught a game-sealing touchdown to put the Browns up 9. And it's like he's always played well against the Ravens, but the other thing he's always had against the Ravens is he's been very vocal. I remember when was it Marlon that choke slammed him? Who choke slammed? Was it Marlon or Marcus?
No, it definitely was Marlon.
It was Marlon, and they got into it.
Yeah.
And I love bringing that type of energy to somebody on this offense because we don't have that. And I like JK. Maybe JK has that a little bit, but we don't have that in a wide receiver. We don't have somebody that's going to smack talk and frustrate you and annoy you like Odell Beckham Jr. is going to do.
Right.
And he's going to go against these cornerbacks, and he's going to piss them off. And Joshua, you brought up, Cooper Kupp, being over there in Los Angeles. We don't have a Cooper Kupp. We got a Mark Andrews, though. We do have a number 1 target that isn't Odell. So he's not going, I don't expect him to be the focal point of the offense, which is great for someone like him because he'll still get his touches. I don't think he's going to be complaining about touches. If Greg Roman was still here, probably be complaining. But everybody complains when Greg Roman is in the building, except for the fullbacks. It's the only thing that doesn't complain. But I think Odell is really setting himself up to play with a coach he's played with before.
Yeah.
His last 1,000-yard season was with Todd Monken. That was 2019, and he put up in Cleveland 16 games, 15 started. He put up 1,035 yards, 4 touchdowns. 3 rushing attempts, and after that he got injured the next season, but the play calling in Cleveland was terrible. Like after that, like Freddie Kitchens sucks. So like, and he wanted out, gets out, goes to the Rams, plays a couple of games, kind of gets his feet wet, and then goes hard in the playoffs. And it's like this guy has played in 8 seasons, I want to say. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 8 seasons. And he's only 30 years old. This isn't a 35-year-old Dez Bryant. This is a 30-year-old wide receiver that has just had a year rest. Again, off of an injury. I'm not trying to say he's going to come back and be, rookie Odell. But the things that made Odell great wasn't breakaway speed. It was instincts with the ball in his hands and hands. That was it. That's what made Odell Beckham Jr. the most famous wide receiver on the planet, was his hands. When in doubt, throw it to Odell because he's going to come down with that big catch. Lamar Jackson has never had a player that he can just throw it to. Not Mark Andrews, not there's not even anybody in the conversation. Not Hollywood, not Miles Boykin, not Rashad Bateman. Not to say Rashad Bateman couldn't be, but Odell is somebody where he has sure hands. He's not going to drop it.
I definitely agree with that. So I mean, come the 27th of April at 22, you got Joey Porter Jr., Cam Smith, Jalen Hyatt, Jordan Addison. What you doing?
I'm going with my number one player on my board all day long, Mr. Joey Porter Jr.
Ooh,
Mr. Joey Porter Jr.
You got, but now you love Cam Smith.
I do love Cam Smith. Cam Smith is my second favorite corner for the Ravens.
Okay.
My number one corner overall is Joey Porter Jr. I would take him if the Ravens were sitting 5th overall and they needed to take corner, and you could take I don't know why I'm blanking on the names. The guy out of Illinois, the guy out of Oregon. Yeah. Christian Gonzalez and
was it Xavier Witherspoon or something like that?
Devin Witherspoon. Okay. Right. And Joey Porter Jr. I'm taking Joey Porter Jr. easily over the other two. I'm not a I think those are my number 2 and number 3 guys. Not trying to say that they're bad, but Joey Porter Jr. is an absolute stud. I think he's almost a guarantee star. Mm-hmm. I'm very high, and I was very high on Sauce. Everybody knows I was very high on Sauce. The people were getting mad at me for mocking Sauce to the Ravens in the first round, because I was doing it so early, and then people are like, slowly over time, it's like, oh well, maybe now Sauce is a late first, and then it was like, well, now Sauce is top 10. And I was like, no, they caught on to my Sauce hype train. Joey Porter Jr. is that kind of. He's not as good as Sauce was coming out,
but he's immediate. I feel like you get immediate impact out of
he's a day one starter. Yeah, for sure. And I don't think Cam Smith is a day one starter. I love his game. I think he needs a little bit of work. I think Christian Gonzalez is a day one starter. Devin Witherspoon, I don't think is day one. Devin Witherspoon's extremely new to playing corner. I think he's only played 2 years or something like that. That's why he's very hyped up. It's because he's pretty good, but also is very inexperienced. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm done drafting the guys that are very inexperienced playing certain positions. I'm just saying. We did it with Queen. We did it with Adafe. Let's go with a guy that's played it his whole life.
And you know what? I think we're on the same page. I mean, honestly, with everything that's been going on with Lamar and everybody talking about, AR-15. I'm not saying AR-15 is inexperienced, but at the same time, I don't need here in Baltimore, I don't need a developmental guy. I need a guy that can come into this organization, into the office, and get right to work. I don't have 3 years. I'm ready to win now. I mean, the Ravens organization, they've been saying that they want to win, but you can't keep on saying that you want to win and you're constantly getting developmental guys. Every year it's been a developmental guy. Like for me personally, I'm at a short end stick with Adafio Way. I need him produce. Like if David Ojabo does more work than Odafe in the second year, hey man, I gotta look at something. YPC Dro, thank you for the super chat, man. Lamar staying the Raven. Hey man, listen, I'm hoping that is the case, but do not be surprised on the 27th of April if some type of trade is made. I'm not saying Lamar's gonna be part of that trade. I want Lamar to be here, but
I expect a draft day trade though from the Ravens. Eric DeCosta said his goal is to acquire more picks.
Yeah, right now I just see a guy being happy for his NFL brother, coming being signed and being on the team and getting paid right now. I'm not trying to jump the gun yet. As much as I want Lamar to be here, until I hear something from Josina, Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter that he's going to sign the tag and play this year, I'm not jumping on the ship just yet, because it's so much going on that we don't know about with the conversations, the controversy between the organization and the brand Lamar Jackson.
And I think the biggest thing that Odell does is it just makes Lamar happy. That's huge.
Yeah.
Lamar keeps getting frustrated because things keep happening that are negative. Mm-hmm. Whether it's, oh man, the Ravens just got rid of his star wide receiver. oh man, the Ravens don't want to pay Lamar Jackson his money. And then reports are coming out about Lamar's contract. And Lamar's like, no, that's incorrect. So he's getting frustrated with the media. And then the fans are calling him out. And then Rashad Bateman's calling out management. And Eric DeCosta's taking shots at the wide receivers. And everything is just like negative towards Lamar. And finally, it's like good news from the Ravens. That's nice. When you're in a contract negotiation and nothing good has really gone your way, not just in the negotiation, but just in the overall situation.
Yeah.
Getting something good news to happen is going to, like, Lamar may be like, all right, Eric, let's talk this week. Maybe we don't get a deal. Like, I'm not expecting a deal to be done at all, but maybe it just kind of ramps up a little bit or incites a little bit of motivation from Lamar Jackson to get a deal done with the Ravens. Because last time we heard from Lamar was requested a trade. And now the Ravens are like, now hold on there, partner. Why don't we bring you a wide receiver? We're going to pay him some good money. 1-year deal. To at least rock out this year. We want you forever, but let's see what we can do.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you've been on Twitter lately, and Josina Anderson, shout out to her. Her and everybody else that's out here in this media world when it comes to the sports, man. She broke down some numbers, man. I mean, enough to. She said either do like a 1-year or 2-year deal that will put him above Deshaun Watson's like pay cap, something like that, so he can still be earning a good amount of money, because at the end of the day, it's about him being one of at least top 5 in regards to highest paid QBs. I mean, I understand that, totally get that. I'm not this live stream is not about the contract talk today. It's about Odell being signed here in Baltimore. But I mean, I just I want everybody to be happy. But in the grand scheme of things, but we all know life doesn't work like that. But I mean, it is definitely something. It definitely is an incentive, because everybody's now saying, Odell Beckham being here, well, who's going to throw him the ball? And at the end of the day, if I'm a Pro Bowl wide receiver, whether it be ex Pro Bowl wide receiver or ex Super Bowl winning wide receiver, I still am curious of who's going to be my QB. I don't see Odell, coming in to play with Snoop or Anthony Brown Jr. No negative discord to none of those guys. I feel like Anthony Brown Jr. is better than Snoop, but it's definitely going to be something interesting to see.
I wonder if that's why the Ravens signed him to a 1-year deal. I wonder if they were like, let's sign you right now. Like, we want to offer you a 3-year deal, 4-year deal.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't really want to do that. I don't know if Lamar's that. What if they're like, we'll get Lamar. We'll sign you to this 1-year deal. We're not trading Lamar. Yeah. We'll extend him. And when we extend him, we want to extend you too. Or something like that, where it's like we're able to negotiate with him as like, yeah, we get why you don't want to lock into 4 years because Lamar isn't locked in. If maybe the Ravens just went like, dude, we promise you Lamar Jackson's going to be here this year. Like, he's going to be here. And we want him for longer. We're going to try and re-sign him. So why don't we just lock you in for 1? We'll void, some of the contract for future years so we can extend you when we extend Lamar if we negotiate something. I wonder if that was part of the process. Not really, because a 1-year, $15 million deal, that's not a prove-it deal.
Right.
Like, people are like, oh, it's a prove-it deal. This is not a prove-it deal. This is a 1-year contract. Like, this is not Odell having to prove he still belongs in the league. Odell is still legit. And I think the only thing that is a concern with him is health. But if he is healthy,
I know what's up with Odell.
He's going to be elite. Now, I don't know if he'll be top 10. I would love for him to be top 10, but he'll be a good one. Good number 1 wide receiver for the Ravens. And I think I think we will try and extend him. I don't think this is a one-off from the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely make sense. Like, it's been a long time, and it's been a long time since, this is to be the first time that Lamar's had his own wide receiver in the prime that still can produce at a high level. Let's go get him. And Look at the Baltimore Ravens Twitter page. They even got got the screenshot of Lamar and Odell Beckham talking on FaceTime. So hey, so it might be some it might be some solid concrete ground that Lamar might be here. But I hope it happens soon because we need him in the facility ASAP with Todd Monken because he's the one that has to lead. He's the general of that offense. He's the captain of that offense. He's going to have to lead that offense. And as an offensive coordinator, I want to get my I want to know who my QB is as soon as possible. I want to meet him as soon as possible. I want to have film study as soon as possible because next thing you know, at the April 27th, we all know how weeks start rolling real quick, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely need them to get on one accord ASAP.
Yeah, and I want to talk about something really quickly. I got to get this off my chest. A lot of people are saying the Ravens should draft wide receiver round 1. This wide receiver class sucks. I don't think a lot of people realize how bad this wide receiver draft class is. Last year, the quarterback draft class sucked.
As long as it's not Quentin Johnson, I don't care.
Like these wide receivers, I don't know if there isn't a number one, and not the number one being the best wide receiver in the class. I don't know if there's a number one wide receiver in this draft. Now obviously there's potential to be number one. I think if you want to look at the best chance, I think it's probably Addison. Addison just has a major injury problem. He gets injured every year. And then it's like Quentin Johnston, like right now he's a wide receiver 4 in the NFL.
He's a developmental guy.
He's a very developmental guy. And you could develop him into a 1, but that's not a guarantee. I don't think JSN. I like JSN. I think he's a 2. And there's no problem with JSN being a 2. I just don't see him being the body type or the skill set of what a modern day number 1 NFL wide receiver is. Zay Flowers. I think
honestly, let's go ahead and kill that noise. Zay Flowers and Tank Dell are literally are the equivalent to Josh Downs. I feel like Josh Downs is better than both of them. I'd take Josh Downs.
I like Josh Downs better than both of them. Yes,
I'm taking Josh Downs any damn day. If he's available, I'm taking him. I'm sorry.
And he's a slot. And like Josh Downs, I think at least we know exactly what he's going to bring is this is a good slot wide receiver.
Yeah.
At least we know that with slot.
Yeah.
And John Parsons, if they suck, more reason to pick early. No, that is not the reason to pick early.
No, sir. We don't.
No.
We had 5 picks this year.
I'd rather go get another position. Next year, will probably be a better wide receiver class, but also, we have good wide receivers. Now, here's the thing. If we go into next year, and these are our top 4 wide receivers, and we go out there with Odell, Bateman, Duvernay, and Nelson Aguilar, I am going to be very happy with that. I am not going to complain. The problem is people are going to complain if Bateman gets hurt, right?
Yep.
Duvernay gets hurt, Odell gets hurt. If one of them gets hurt, then people are going to be like, man, the Ravens just aren't bringing in enough weapons for Lamar. No, every team in the NFL, if their best wide receiver gets hurt, everyone's going to complain because they don't have the wide receivers. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the Minnesota Vikings. If Justin Jefferson gets hurt, Kirk Cousins doesn't have enough weapons. If Jamar Chase gets hurt, man, Burrow only has T. Higgins. That's not really enough.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody wants to complain once they're injured. Guys, you look back week 1 of last year, nobody complained about the Ravens wide receivers. We were happy with them. When did people complain? When Rashad Bateman got hurt, and then everyone went, man, the Ravens don't have any good wide receivers. Well, yeah, because their number 1 wide receiver got hurt. If you lose your best guy, the room isn't very good. And that happens with corner as well, right? When Marlon got hurt and it was like, man, the Ravens just don't have any good corners. Well, yeah, that's not Eric DeCosta's fault. That's just bad luck that happens with injuries, and it happens in the NFL. I'm completely fine with going out and getting depth at wide receiver. Again, I'm not against adding more wide receivers. Having depth is always good, but we do not need another number one wide receiver or a guy that can be potential. We don't need to draft first round wide receiver.
Yeah.
And honestly, if we do, I feel like Quentin Johnston may be the best option because at least he could, like, because first off, I don't think Jordan Addison's available 22. I think he's gone.
What was his 40 time?
It was slow, but he was also hurt. And so it's like,
But he'll be available.
I don't think he'll be available.
Because we talked. You said it previously. Like, yo, if your 40 time is not good, like people want to slide. Like for whatever reason, I can see JSN sliding because he ran a 4.5 on his pro day. Like y'all don't. If y'all let JSN slide because he ran a 4.5 on his pro day, y'all didn't watch another tape of Ohio. Yeah, that's on y'all.
Like I just think like it's just. Like, I don't think we need a wide receiver. Again, if we draft a wide receiver, I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, this isn't like a wide receiver class where it's like, oh, man, we just got to get one of these guys. It's going to be generational. You know what's really great about this class? This is one of the best running back draft classes ever. Bijan Robinson, potential generational. I think he's a generational talent.
Yeah.
Some people would disagree. I would take Bijan out of the draft easily over Saquon. Like, I'm that high on him. I'm taking him over Saquon. I'm taking him over Lenny. Taking him over Zeke. I'm taking him over McCaffrey. And then you also have like Tajay Spears, great duo, hybrid back, right? Pass catcher, route runner, rusher.
I like
Gibbs, Deuce Vaughn again, another versatile guy. Dwayne McBride, heavy power back. The running back out of Appalachian State is an unbelievable power back. He's like 6'2", 235. Great stuff.
Even shout out to my HBCU guy, Alfonso Graham out of Morgan State. I think he put up 1,000 yards back to back. So yeah.
And so like I would rather go best player available. And I honestly don't care what you could put every wide receiver available in the draft. There's going to be a better player at corner, probably a better edge rusher, definitely a better offensive lineman. All better than them. Probably a running back better than them. Like, I don't think any of these wide receivers are top 20. They're not top 25 in the draft class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think there's multiple corners in the top 25. There's definitely running back. There's definitely a tight end in the top 25.
Oh, of course. What's his name?
Michael Mayer.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
I don't think we should draft Mayer. I'm not saying that.
If you do, you have to get rid of Andrews. I'm sorry. But hey, that's another conversation for another day. That's
a conversation for yesterday. That's what I was talking about yesterday.
That is literally rebuild Ravens type of move. If you get Michael Mayer, you had to let go Andrews. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
I want Will Anderson. I want Will Anderson as well.
That would be nice.
Will Anderson should be the first overall pick. He's the best player in the draft.
That would be nice, but hey, man, I don't see us going that far to go get him.
Like, he should be the first overall pick, but everybody wants their quarterback. Deontay Banks. I don't have a problem with Banks. I like Banks. I think Banks is a late, like if he goes 32nd overall or very early second, I think that's where he's going to go. But it's just like, I don't know. I'm super excited just because I feel like I don't expect a contract to get done with the Ravens. That's not what I'm saying by saying this, but I think this makes Lamar very happy. And I think this is like, I don't expect Lamar to sit out or anything like that, because people were worried about that if he has Odell, right?
I feel like if he would have sat out if he sat out this year, and one of my buddies said it, if Lamar sat out this year and the Ravens made it to an AFC Championship game or even the playoffs, it would hurt Lamar's stock more.
Yeah,
because everybody's saying when Lamar's not playing, we go down. It's like a 10-point differential in regards to scoring points. I mean, Lamar Jackson does give us the higher probability to win games because of who Lamar Jackson is. But I think a lot of fans possibly might get mad of how the media dresses up as Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Sometimes with singing groups, how you got for example, Omarion and B2K. Some things you just can't do. It's either the group or just that solo player. And we all know that it's a team sport at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, Lamar is the face of the other. I feel like he is the upcoming face of the franchise. Don't get me wrong, but if Lamar was to lead today and not come back, I do feel like the Ravens will still make it to the playoffs at least.
Mm-hmm. And something to think about. Todd Monken.
Yeah.
What did the Ravens do with their offense now that it's good offensive line, especially for rushing the football? Very good running back, rushing quarterback, or a quarterback that has the ability to run as well as throw. But then you also have a great tight end in Mark Andrews, and a stud wide receiver in Odell, and a good young wide receiver in Rashad Bateman. How do you think the Ravens build this offense up? Is it going to be a run heavy attack, or are they going to try and air it out? What are you kind of expecting for the Ravens offense under Monken, who's used Odell before as well as everything else?
The same thing Gary Kubiak, Jim Caldwell did with Joe Flacco. Play action are a little, but this I do see play action RPO. Lamar has played a little bit under center, so I can see a little bit of everything, honestly. But I definitely feel like that play action is going to be that element of surprise, that new wrinkle that's going to be needed for the simple fact that everybody's going to be like, oh well, we know Lamar Jackson have been part of the running offense first, so let's always bite on that. I feel like Tom Monk is going to throw more slants than anything. Because so many defenses are still going to be so keened in on Lamar Jackson. It's like the same thing Michael Vick had. Same thing Cam Newton when I forgot. There was such a moment in NFL I'll never forget. Was it when they played against the Green Bay Packers? I think it was like AJ Hawk or whoever.
Oh, it was Clay Matthews.
Clay Matthews. There we go.
Yeah.
And he called the play out. He said, "Oh, you've been watching your film. Watch this," and still ran the same play or called a different audible and still got the touchdown. Like I see a lot of excitement happening. I do see that we see Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, possibly Charlie Kolar on the field together and not in a 3 tight end set. I do possibly see Isaiah Likely maybe spread out or in a slot, and both of them are not colliding into each other. They're both utilizing the field. It's the real estate is going to be used. Is what I'm saying. The real estate on the field is going to be used. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And we saw it. Monken does like passing the ball, whether it was in the NFL, whether it was in college. He likes passing the ball, whether it was a wide receiver, whether it was a tight end, and the running back still 8-2. So it's going to be a balanced offense this upcoming year, and I'm looking forward to that part.
Yeah, and I think it's also like Odell is going to come in, and I think his after the catch ability is so interesting, as well as the red zone opportunities for throwing those fades and throwing those quick release passes to him. I think that's really going to help the Ravens red zone offense, because that's, again, where they've struggled a lot. That's where Odell is very good. I like the idea of this just like hard play action, because I think they're going to go similar to what the Eagles have done. Maybe not a ton of deep shots, because I don't think they have any really deep threats on the roster. Like maybe Aguilar can go in there. Bateman can go deep and stuff like that. Odell can go deep. That's not their specialty, though. But a lot of just like play action crossing routes, because that's where A.J. Brown thrives. And that's where those after the catch wide receivers thrive. That's where I think Duvernay, Bateman, and Odell would all be able to take a crosser 80 yards. And then just handing it off to J.K., letting Lamar use his legs, having that, Eagles had Dallas Goedert, Ravens have, Mark Andrews, and they have these other tight ends that can all play in. I think we're going to see a run-heavy offense, but focusing on that play action, which I feel like Greg Roman's play action was like 3rd and 9 play action. And it was like, bro, you don't need the play action. Like, this is not when to play action.
If he didn't have and if he didn't like stack the offense, like it would have been. I feel like things could have worked out because he stacked the offense, set Patrick Ricard on a motion, to whatever the strong side may have been. It was like, yo, defense, slide over to this side. Like We know what's coming. So I feel like, like you said, man, element of surprise, play that hard play action. It's going to make a lot of defenses bite. They're not going to just be able to just come up and contain. No, this is not going to be an offense where Lamar is always planning to run. No, this is going to be an offense where Lamar's going to be in the pocket. He may run out the pocket. To see what his option is and availability. But this is going to be more of an offense where Lamar Jackson runs the ball after he doesn't see anything. If no options are completely available. This is going to be an offense where J.K. Dobbins is going to be a feature back. He's going to go for 1,000 yards. This is going to be an offense where, Rashad Bateman stays healthy and goes for, I'm going to say it now, he goes for 1,200 yards. If Lamar Jackson stays, I'm going to say it. I feel like he goes crazy. I feel like the passing game goes crazy.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what happens, especially in the draft, because we're really going to find out where the Ravens stand in this draft. Do they go because they could draft around 4 quarterback. I love Jay Kanner in this draft class. I think if they go after him, not good news. But if they don't, and we don't draft a wide receiver, then it's like, okay, we're banking on Odell. And if we go corner, it's like what are we doing with Marcus Peters? Are we bringing back Marcus Peters? I don't think we have a lot of money. And I don't want Marcus Peters back, so I'm fine with it. But
I feel like it falls on if Peters was willing to take a veteran minimum type of deal. Like I said, he's came out his mouth previously and say, how he loves Baltimore, how Baltimore gave him the reason to want to play football and stuff like that. Well, gave him his love back to play football, things of that nature. So I mean, if a vet minimum is available, is on the table, I do feel like we could possibly see Marcus Peters back. And he's had a rough year last year, honestly, coming back from an ACL injury. Not saying that he's going to come back and be, Marcus Peters up before, but you still can get a better production from him than Jalen Armour Davis, or in the words of Void, my knee, Amar Marshall. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. But I did see some people put in the chat about Rock Young-Sin. I don't know if that's still on the table. But they could possibly visit that after the draft or during cuts, training camp cuts and stuff like that.
Yeah, and again, Odell Beckham Jr. Yeah, it's an $18 million deal. Great for him. It's like a $3 million cap hit. So everyone's going to be super upset about that, guys. It's a $3 million cap hit. It's fine. That is what smart teams do. Is they're able to my buddies just texted me and they texted me oh man, LMAO $18 million for Odell is stupid. And I text back and I go, Odell's a $3 million cap hit. It doesn't matter. And they go, oh wow, that's not bad. They're oh, that's actually good. It's yeah. So it's not bad because it's not going against the cap. It's voided. They're able to use the void years because they're going to try and extend him and push that money back. They're going in for Lamar and they're not spending a lot of money this year because here's the thing. They're fully expecting to re-sign Lamar. If they use void years, they're fully expecting that because extending Lamar would reduce the cap hit next year if we extend Lamar next year. If we do that and we don't re-sign Odell, then we'll be able to pay the dead cap for the void years. And if we do extend Odell, then the void years don't matter. And there's no dead cap. So it's smart. I think it's a really good deal. But a lot of people that don't look into the void years, they're going to say this is a bad deal. If Odell was an $18 million cap hit this year, it would be a bad deal. But he's not. It's 3. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, man. It's a good way to start this month off for Ravens fans. Honestly, I'm looking forward to see what else is going to be done, whether on the night of the 27th or before the 27th.
Yeah.
Gyro the fifth Gyro the fifth Kazakage. What wide receivers should the Ravens get at first or second round? Well, we don't have a second round pick. At third, in the third, who would you pick up?
Third round, what position?
Wide receiver. Gyro the fifth Kazakage asked.
Um, we have Odell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Trey Palmer. I think
Mm.
if we're there as a deep threat,
Okay.
I think he's the best deep threat outside of Hyatt in this draft class. And Hyatt I think could go round 1 or early round 2. So I would go with Trey Palmer, 4.3 40, really good wide receiver out in Nebraska as a deep threat. I think that's what he does. I don't think he'd be much more than that. I'm not expecting somebody to turn into anybody crazy, but as a deep threat, I like him.
I feel you. I guess my guys would either be Mingo out of Ole Miss, Mims out of OU. I had one more. I have Rakim Jarrett, but everybody talking about he has hands problems. I mean, I'd rather get a guy that you can work on his hands in the third round. I mean, and University of Maryland. I mean, even though he comes from University of Maryland, we had a University of Maryland guy that did have hands problems, Torrey Smith, but he ended up working out for us. So I mean, if we can get production out of Rakim Jarrett at the third, or maybe Cedric Tillman slides to the third round, maybe I would go for him too. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah, and I think Cedric Tillman will be available in the third. I think he could be available in the fourth. But
That's a sleeper. That's a steal, honestly.
then there's the other guys where they're like real projects, like
Yeah.
Andre Yosivas and stuff like that. But yeah, I really like Hyatt. I mean, Hyatt can't get off press, so he's got to work on that. But other than
Yeah.
that, I think Hyatt's a stud as a deep threat. If he goes to a vertical passing offense, I think he's going to be great. Like if he goes to Seattle, he goes to Buffalo, he goes to Kansas City or something like that, it's going to light it up. If he goes to the Bears, won't be. If he goes to like the Eagles, it would suck. The Eagles take one deep shot a game. Like that was the average last year. It was like one a game.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I thought I mean it still can happen. I did hear that Magic Johnson and his team end up did they win the bid for the Commanders, I believe.
I don't know. I saw that they were trying. I don't know
I got
if they did it.
I gotta double check it, but they may have won it. I was always saying if things don't work out, he'll be up the street. Because the stadium is literally like in Landover, Maryland. And Landover, Maryland is like 5 minutes away from DC. So Magic Johnson is just known to make a splash, whether it's been in baseball, NBA. We saw what he did behind the scenes and helped out and put out the request to get LeBron. I wouldn't be surprised if he is owner or part owner of the Commanders. He's going to try to put a request to get Lamar. He ain't no dummy. But I mean, it's interesting to see how things going to play out, man.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's is he going to rock number 0?
He's going to have to.
That'd be
honestly
sick.
I think it honestly should be the other way around, but it's like Rashad Bateman already changed his jersey. So
yeah, and Odell and Bateman said that he wasn't switching. So yeah. I mean, like he could wear 3. He could wear 13. Wait, can he wear 13? Who's 13?
Does Devin Duvernay got 13? James Prochet got 3?
Hold on. Let's see here. Ravens roster. Everyone changes numbers so often. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
13 is Duvernay. Okay. Yeah, so he could wear 0. Aguilar hasn't picked the number. He could wear 0. 1, 2, 8. Oh wait, no, he can't wear 8. That would have been bad. Lamar's not listed on the roster. That's why I said 8. 10. Yeah. I feel like he's gonna rock 0. He tweeted out a while back 0 or 7. I think 0 would be sick. So, and yeah, Bateman has 7. So I think it's going to be 0. Or he'll pay Prochet. He's got the money. Or he'll pay Duvernay for 13. I don't know.
Definitely got to see. Is Huntley still on the roster? Technically,
He's a restricted free agent, I believe. So, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. What like to trade picks now? John, what's going on, John? Well, we're not trading Andrews unless this is going to be a rebuild for the next 3-4 years, and we getting picks behind that.
Yeah, we're less likely to trading Andrews now. That was the video I talked about yesterday. Was if the Ravens want to rebuild, should they trade Andrews? People aren't very happy about it. Oh well.
I mean,
it wasn't as this stupid segment, so
I don't think it's stupid though. It's like if you're going to rebuild.
Yeah. Let's see. Snoop not coming back. Who wants Snoop? No team watched Tyler Huntley play, and they were like, "That's what we want."
No, he messed up last year. Now, if it was the year before, it would have been a different story. Yeah.
But, oh man, right about 100 people. If anyone, guys, we're doing a giveaway when we hit 50 podcast reviews on Apple Podcasts. I'll throw the link in there. Takes 5 seconds. You don't have to write a review. It's just 50 star ratings. All you have to do, I'm going to put the thing in the chat. We're giving away a jersey. It could be an Odell jersey, whatever the winner wants. All you have to do is you scroll to the bottom and it says give a rating. And if you have an Apple account, that's all you have, and it's already signed in on your iPhone. If anybody wants to do it, feel free to. If not, no worries. But we're giving away a jersey once we hit that. But
hey man, help us out, man. We appreciate everything. We appreciate y'all even coming through on Easter Sunday and being with us, man. We truly appreciate it. But we definitely need y'all support all around, man. Whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Keep on doing your thing for us, Ravens Fly, for real.
Yeah, Joshua, is there anything else you want to talk about? We're almost at about an hour streaming.
Man, I mean, I'm good, man. I mean, we signed Odell. Andrew, the LSU women won. I wasn't really rooting for UConn, but a guy from Maryland was on the team. Reese's cousin, probably play cousin. And, they won. So, I mean, I'm all good. Man. The Lakers are in the play-in.
Yeah, if they lose, they got to go against OKC if OKC wins.
Bro, I'm not worried about that.
Wow.
I'm not saying you guys are gonna be washed or nothing like that, but I'm not worried about that, man. Come on, man.
Not worried about it. Chet's coming. Chet's gonna come back. He's gonna block LeBron. It's gonna be over.
We got Tristan Thompson, man. We back.
Oh yeah, they do call him the 21st century Shaquille O'Neal.
We got Tristan Thompson back, man. We back, man. We back. No, man, I'm good, man.
All right, everybody. Alex Baldwin said he rated it. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you. Everybody else follow suit. Smash it.
All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for listening, for coming through. This will be posted on the podcast platforms as well. So if you missed part of it, you want to go check it out. You can do it over there. You can listen to it while you're driving to work or whatever. Thank you all so much. We'll subscribe to y'all. Well, no, we won't subscribe to you. Subscribe for Daily Ravens content. We hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see all of you again next time.